Check, check, check.
You're good.
Bleachers.
Yeah, it's fine.
Love you. Are we rolling?
We're rolling. Oh, man. When Cate has to talk about Jack Antonoff, she turns red and she gets giggly. Welcome to Music in Motion. It is July 30th. Crazy that we're almost to August, right? Mm-hmm. A big day for releases. So real quick, make sure you follow us on all of our socials. X1039 Radio. So yeah, check out our socials and subscribe to Music in Motion. All right, Cate, this is a big day for you. I mean, I know it's a big day for Bleachers and for Jack Antonoff, but it is a really big day for you.
So Take the Sadness Out of Saturday Night by Bleachers is out today. It is Bleachers 3, as we like to also call it. It's been 4 years.
It's like Van Halen. Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2.
It's been 4 years since a Bleachers album came out, so we were ready.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, 2017.
Nuts.
And that was the year we went to that show at the Ogden.
Don't remember it. I mean, I remember some of it.
I don't even know where to begin with it. Help me, Shawn. Help me gather my thoughts here.
Okay, well, I'll start with 91, the opening song, which is actually one of my favorites on the album. I don't know why. It's different. I like the storyline of this album. I think there's a storyline anyway. Yeah,
the whole album it's kind of like a love letter to New Jersey, but also this feeling of like needing to get out of, wherever you're stuck in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I think that I get the leaving New Jersey, maybe crossing a bridge, and you go to the big city, which is a storyline for a lot of people that live in New Jersey. There's a lot of movies that address that you're standing there in New Jersey and you're looking at the Big Apple. You're looking at New York City and you want to get there, right? But then when you're there, you're like, well, not all that glitters is gold, and then you're ready to go back home.
Yeah.
So you kind of get that.
Yeah. It smells like trash.
You get that vibe, but I think we all do that. I think we all have these lofty goals to get somewhere better than where we grew up. Mm-hmm. And we also kind of bash people that stay in that place that we grew up. And then you spend a lot of time going through your adult life, revisiting. And then eventually you're like, do I need to be back here? I'm not sure.
So Chinatown is the next song that, of course, has Bruce Springsteen on it. And he talked about what inspires him about Bruce Springsteen.
It's probably the first artist I heard where I was like, I know what he's talking about, because I'm from New Jersey. So there was a literal sense of, I know the places he's talking about, but then the deeper sense of, I know the sentiments he's talking about. I know this feeling. When I would listen to the Beatles and Joni Mitchell or something like that, I would know the feeling emotionally, and I would connect it to my life. But when I first heard Springsteen records, I would say, I know that feeling. I know that feeling of like, I don't want to die here, but it's also a big part of my culture. So he's extremely influential in my work, and also a deeply important person in my life on a personal level. So it's just a very beautiful thing to have him be a part of ushering in this album.
I've always said over the past few years how much he reminds me of Bruce Springsteen, and that Bleachers is big, like the E Street Band. But I do really, really, with all the saxophone and the really deep lyrics, I mean, this does remind me a lot of Bruce, this album.
Yeah, and Chinatown is like the perfect song for Bruce Springsteen to be on because of that whole storyline, There's a lot that stands out on this album. My favorite song, it's going to change. I know it will. Mm-hmm. Don't Go Dark. That is listened to it on repeat last night. Mm-hmm. I wept to it. It's funny because the album is called Take the Sadness Out of Saturday Night, but half of the album had me like weeping because I'm kind of going through this thing too of missing home after I spent so many years telling myself I have to get away.
Don't cry.
I'm not.
Because I don't want to cry.
It's gonna get.
I also miss home a lot, and it's only 5 hours away.
Yeah. Anyway, it's called Take the Sadness Out of Saturday Night, and I know that my Saturday night is gonna be me like weeping to this album, but it's gorgeous, and he does such a good job of storytelling through his albums. I actually asked him what his favorite song was that we hadn't heard yet, because I got to talk to him before this album came out.
The album ends with a song called What Do I Do With All This Faith? And it's really, I've never had a a song tie up the entire point of the album in a more perfect way. I usually leave them kind of open and like sort of not trying to sort of one up whatever's happened, but I just got this song and it came to me and it really just nails it all. It's like this, you kind of have to hear it, but it's such a end piece. I've never had it before, so it really is special to me.
So yeah, I think all in all, ending it with that song, it seems like a really personal album for him.
Mm-hmm. It does, yeah.
And I just cannot wait to hear it live. I really hope I can make it to Shadow of the City. I don't know if it's going to happen. As such a cheerleader of his work, I would just love to be in that crowd. So I know either way, it's going to be a really special event.
Make sure if you want to keep up with the tour, and if you're here in Colorado, that date is at 1039rxp.com, and Cate's Zoom interview as well with Jack Antonoff, 1039rxp.com. I have to say, you say you're a champion of his work, but that's a lot of work. When does he stop?
I know. And that's kind of the thought I had when listening to it, is you hear everything that he's been involved in the past few years in that album. You know, Folklore, Clairo's new album, Lord's new music. I feel like you can hear all of it. And so
Lana Del Rey.
Lana Del Rey, of course. Oh God, that's another song that I like. It came out earlier this week. It's called Secret Life with Lana Del Rey. I wept to that one too because it's gorgeous. Like the whole album itself is kind of dark. It's in a lot of the songs are in minor. I read throwback to a past episode.
I read that he wanted to maybe do a duet in that song in Secret Life with Lana Del Rey, and then he decided that it would be better to layer her voice. And I'm just like, you can just whatever.
You do whatever you want.
And I'm there because you know me with LDR. I'm like, yeah, I'm there for it. So, well, definitely. So are you saying you recommend take the sadness out of Saturday night?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Okay, Shawn, if you don't stop me, I will talk about this new album in Bleachers forever. So please launch into your recommendation for this weekend.
Oh, for sure. Obviously, do we have to mention Billie? Is it obvious? Like any streaming service, any time, we're playing so much Billie. Billie is everywhere.
She doesn't need any promotion, right? I will say, kind of on the same level of Take the Sadness Out of Saturday Night. Her album is called Happier Than Ever, and it's another kind of sad album. It's not. It's an album that kind of makes you sad for her.
But obviously really well produced and
yeah,
amazing sounds coming out of that, right?
It's really good. I think one of the standout moments of the album is her song Not My Responsibility into the song Overheated. Not My Responsibility is the audio from that video that she released addressing people commenting on her body. And then it goes into a song that's called Overheated, which I think is about that photo that went viral of her that people commented on, that she was wearing, a tank top, and they just lost their minds that they can see her body. As a teenager, can you imagine that?
No.
Being on that platform and having people talk about you like that. So I think that's what I gather is that song is about. That's a pretty empowering couple songs right there. And that's what the whole album is about, is her her years in the spotlight the last few years.
Yeah.
And addressing everything.
She's, her prime years have been in front of everyone, the world. Can you imagine? When I was her age, I was so insecure about everything in my life. Everything. I couldn't imagine the whole world watching me and just under a microscope.
Yeah.
So,
and it happens so fast for her too.
But she is, helping, I assume, helping so many young women overcome that.
Yeah.
And be who they are and be proud of their bodies. So thank you, Billie. All right. So we go from one mega to another mega to the most mega, maybe one of the most mega, Prince. Prince gave us yet another new album. He's not even on this planet anymore. But we know that he has an endless supply of vault of unreleased music, and this is what it's going to be like. I assume year after year, we're just going to keep getting new Prince music, right? Yeah. So what we got last night is from 2010, I believe. It's called "Welcome to America" with the number 2. And it is funky. It is funky. It is sassy. It's also just telling a tale of America in general and what it is like in America, and which was in 2010, which is still relatable. It's 11 years later. Right?
Yeah.
And it's still relatable, everything he was talking about. So it kicks off with "Welcome to America," and then "Running Game," which is a really heavy song. But it is, like I said, a lot of soul, a lot of funk. "Hot Summer," a fun song, which, by the way, Prince, we could have used that in 2010. The song "Hot Summer," because it's just so good. It would have been a huge hit. And he does a cover of "Stand Up and Be Strong," which is a Soul Asylum song, also from Minneapolis. So we assume he's paying tribute to his buds from Minneapolis.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's a great take on it. So check it out. You'll love it. "Welcome to America," Prince. Thank you, Prince.
It makes you wonder, what else is to come,
Right?
Your comment about that song, could have used that in 2010. There's probably more gems just in that vault.
Well, and maybe video and unreleased, just all of that. So, and let's just, he just champions women too so much. Anyway, all right, I'll pull back. I'll pull back on the Prince.
We both have the same problem today. We got to stop ourselves.
Kate, remember Stella Brown, that song we loved so much last year? Uh-huh. Well, guess what? Jelani Aryeh has now given us a full album. I've got some living to do, and it has Marigold on it as well. I don't know if you've checked out that song, but now we have a full album, and I listened to it last night, and it just lulled me to sleep in a happy way. It's not boring. I just felt happy when I finally went to sleep listening to that album. So make sure to check it out.
I will.
Such a stunning artist.
I have lots of stuff to check out this weekend.
Yes, you do.
Because my New Music Friday started with me just listening to one album over and over. So
real quick, let's do Don't Sleep on This. All right. So we have some new singles, right?
One of my favorites, Des Rocs, released a new song today. It's called MMC, which stands for Mickey Mouse Club. We heard it a while ago. Been excited about this one. He also announced his debut album this week. It's going to be out September 24th. It's called A Real Good Person in a Real Bad Place. He's just one of the best that... It's so unfortunate that show stopped for so long.
Yeah.
Because we saw him in Vegas right before the pandemic, just kill that stage. He had a lot of plans, I think, to go out. And
he's a live artist.
He's a live artist for sure. You will walk away from his show what just happened?
So MMC, Mickey Mouse Club, but he's the rat.
The lyrics are, I hope I get this right, you don't let a rat into the Mickey Mouse Club.
What do you think that means? Have you talked to him about it?
I haven't, but the song, from what I read that he said, is talking about how people try to be anything but themselves. Mm-hmm. And so I think the take on that, they don't let a rat into the Mickey Mouse Club. It's don't pretend to be anything just to get into this into this certain industry. Yeah, because
I always say that TikTok is the new Mickey Mouse Club. And so it's and that's, that's old me. I'm sorry. I'm 50 years old. But Mickey Mouse Club has a long history of launching stars. But we all know that that's a formula, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of money behind that. And it's called Disney money, right?
Yeah, and TikTok is weird because you can see some of the most authentic people and people being themselves, and they'll put anything about themselves online, but then you have a lot of TikTok stars that
they're creators now.
Yeah, there's no way that's a real person. So I think it's a commentary on that.
I get 100 views on my videos, and I'm like, ooh.
Well, and it's funny because Des Rocs was teasing this song on TikTok. He actually released clips of it over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And he kept saying, I'm not sure if my label's ever going to let me release this. And so I messaged him last night, and I was like, we heard this a while ago, so I was seeing your TikToks, oh, okay. And he's like, You knew. That's
All right,
he's
good
one
for
of my
him.
favorites. So I'm excited to see him come back around.
Speaking of one of our favorites, shout out to Upsahl, who is constantly creating, a true creator, of course, a true producer, songwriter, musician. We love Upsahl, and she dropped a new one on us last night as well, Time of My Life. It's a banger. She makes the greatest party songs ever. So shout out to Upsahl. And I want to throw this out because I asked you earlier, The Knocks. This song is sick.
Yes.
It is so sick. I assume it's going to be a
stoked for
hit.
them.
Sound the Alarm. Let's talk about who's on that, though, with them.
Rivers Cuomo,
Yes.
which is huge. And why did I forget the third one?
No, it's Royal and the Serpent.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I'm the
She's on
worst.
there as well. So a banger of a song. Congratulations. I don't know how you can congratulate Rivers Cuomo, but I say congratulations to the Knocks for scoring that
Seriously.
big fish.
Yeah. They've been killing it, with the last song with Foster the People. That song was huge for us for so long. People
We
were
still play it. I
requesting
love
it
it.
like
Yeah.
crazy. And so really cool for them. Excited.
So songs, Time of My Life, Upsahl, The Knocks, Sound the Alarm, featuring Rivers Cuomo and Royal the Serpent. Anything else? Are we good?
I think we're good. That's a
Wow.
lot of new music to take in. It is
Yeah.
a good day.
A lot of
good
what's
last date of July.
A lot of what's new now, right?
Yeah.
So I want to do a big tease because this Sunday we're, recording this obviously on Friday, the 30th of July. On Sunday, August 1st is the 40th anniversary of MTV, which was such a huge influence on my musical taste, my life as a teenager and into my 20s. So Cate, I'm sure we'll have a good discussion on that because you're literally half my age. Right? Or no,
A
close.
little less, but
So I can't wait to get your take on MTV and the kind of MTV you grew up on versus the MTV I grew up on. But that'll come next week.
yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. We have a lot to dive into.
A lot to dive into.
I have basically Room Raiders and the show Next to talk about with my experience, but we'll get into that later.
August 1st is such a cool date, man. And
It's also Colorado's birthday.
it is Colorado's birthday. It is?
Uh-huh.
Like Colorado the state? Yeah.
Yeah.
Duh. What else would it be?
This girl I know called Colorado.
I get high like Colorado. Mm-mm. And it is my sister's birthday on Sunday. So happy birthday, Sammy. She listens to this podcast.
Oh yeah, shout out Sammy.
She's gonna be like, you gave me a shout out. That was so cool.
at the very end.
That's a pretty good Samantha I just did. You gave me a shout out. I'm so excited.
It is good.
I know.
All right. Well, that does it, I think, today for... We got plenty of music to check out this weekend. For Music in Motion, What's New Now? Remember to rate, review, subscribe to get notified of new episodes.
Can I do a quick thing?
Yeah.
This shirt is so rad. Am I right? I'm in our video.
I love it.
It's a Denver, Colorado band. Cheap Perfume. Kind of like they're kind of like Denver / Colorado Springs, but they're badass. Check them out. They're huge on TikTok. Cheap Perfume. Boom. There's my
There's
shameless
one more
plug.
for you for this weekend.
Okay.